What if I told you that some of the most powerful healing plants on Earth are probably growing as weeds in your backyard right now, completely ignored and often sprayed with herbicides? Plants that indigenous peoples and our ancestors relied on for thousands of years to treat everything from wounds to infections to pain. Plants so effective that modern medicine has actually derived pharmaceuticals from them. Today, I'm revealing 10 forgotten medicinal plants that can heal you instantly. Plants that grew in every grandmother's garden but have been lost in just a few generations. These aren't exotic rainforest plants or expensive supplements. These are common plants that grow wild across North America. Plants you've probably walked past 100 times without knowing their incredible healing power. Whether you're interested in natural remedies, herbal medicine, or just want to be prepared for emergencies when modern medicine isn't available, this video could be life-changing. Stick around because number 3 can stop bleeding almost instantly and has literally saved lives on battlefields throughout history. But before we dive into these incredible healing plants, if you're interested in natural remedies, herbal medicine, or self-sufficiency, go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow and reach more people who need this knowledge. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell so you never miss our weekly videos. Alright, let's get into the video. Here's something that's been lost in just 2 or 3 generations. For thousands of years, humans treated illness and injury with plants. Every culture on Earth developed sophisticated botanical medicine systems. Indigenous peoples in North America had extensive knowledge of medicinal plants, knowledge that was passed down orally for millennia. Our great-grandparents knew which plants to use for fevers, which stopped bleeding, which eased pain, and which fought infection. This wasn't superstition or folk magic. It was empirical knowledge developed over thousands of years of observation and use. Many of these traditional remedies have been validated by modern science, with active compounds isolated and studied. But something happened in the 20th century. As pharmaceutical medicine advanced, botanical knowledge was dismissed as primitive or unreliable. The rise of industrial agriculture and suburban lawns meant that medicinal plants were removed from landscapes and called weeds. Knowledge that had been passed down for generations was lost as people moved to cities and relied entirely on doctors and pharmacies. The tragedy is that many of these plants are incredibly effective, fast-acting, and safe when used properly. They grow freely, require no prescription, cost nothing, and in some cases work as well as or better than pharmaceuticals. And in emergency situations, natural disasters, supply chain disruptions, or simply being far from medical care, knowing these plants could save your life or someone else's. Critical disclaimer, I need to be very clear before we continue. The information in this video is educational and historical, not medical advice. These plants have traditional uses, and some have scientific backing, but you should always consult with a qualified healthcare provider before using any plant medicinally. Some plants can interact with medications, cause allergic reactions, or be dangerous if misidentified or used improperly. Pregnant and nursing women should be especially cautious. Never use plants as a substitute for emergency medical care. Proper plant identification is absolutely critical. Some medicinal plants have toxic lookalikes. With that said, learning about medicinal plants is valuable knowledge that everyone should have. Let's jump into number 10 and work our way to the most powerful, forgotten healing plant. Number 10. Plantain, Plantago major, and P. lanceolata. Starting at number 10, we have plantain, not the banana-like tropical fruit, but the humble weed with broad leaves that grows in lawns, sidewalk cracks, and disturbed soil everywhere. This plant is so common that you've almost certainly stepped on it, yet it's one of the most useful medicinal plants you can find. Plantain has been used for thousands of years to treat wounds, bites, stings, and skin irritations. The leaves contain compounds including allantoin, aucubin, and mucilage that reduce inflammation, fight bacteria, promote healing, and draw out toxins. Traditional uses. Fresh plantain leaves were called soldier's herb because they were applied to battle wounds to stop bleeding and prevent infection. For bee stings, mosquito bites, or poison ivy, chew a fresh plantain leaf or crush it thoroughly and apply directly to the affected area. The relief is almost immediate. Within minutes, the itching and swelling decrease noticeably. For minor cuts and scrapes, wash the area, then apply a crushed fresh plantain leaf directly to the wound. The leaves have natural antibacterial properties and promote rapid healing. Indigenous peoples used plantain poultices for everything from snake bites to infected wounds. You can also make plantain salve by infusing the leaves in oil, then mixing with beeswax. This creates a healing ointment for rashes, minor burns, and skin irritation. Modern scientific support. Studies have confirmed that plantain has antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, and wound-healing properties. The compounds in plantain are being studied for potential pharmaceutical applications. Identification. Plantain has broad, oval leaves with distinctive parallel veins running from base to tip. The leaves grow in a rosette pattern at ground level. Narrow-leaf plantain has long, lance-shaped leaves. Both produce a tall spike with tiny flowers. Don't confuse with toxic plants. Proper identification is essential. Where to find it? Lawns, parks, roadsides, trails, disturbed soil, sidewalk cracks. Plantain grows almost everywhere in North America. This humble weed is one of the most useful first aid plants you can know, especially for outdoor emergencies. Number 9. Dandelion, Taraxacum officinale. At number 9 is the dandelion, public enemy number 1 for lawn enthusiasts, but actually one of the most medicinal plants growing in temperate climates. Every part of this plant, roots, leaves, and flowers, has therapeutic uses. Traditional uses. Dandelion has been used for centuries to support liver function and digestion, act as a gentle diuretic helping with water retention, provide vitamins and minerals, and support kidney health. Dandelion root is particularly valued as a liver tonic. Traditional herbalists used it for sluggish liver, constipation, and digestive complaints. The young leaves are incredibly nutritious, higher in vitamin A than spinach, rich in vitamin C, calcium, iron, and potassium. They can be eaten raw in salads, though they're bitter, or cooked like spinach. Dandelion root can be dried, roasted, and used as a coffee substitute. The roasted root has been used traditionally to support liver detoxification and improve digestion. Modern scientific support. Research has validated many traditional uses. Dandelion contains sesquiterpene lactones, taraxasterol, and other compounds that support liver function. Studies show it has antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and mild diuretic properties. It's being researched for potential anti-cancer properties. How to use. Young dandelion leaves can be eaten fresh or cooked. Harvest before flowers appear for less bitterness. Dandelion root can be harvested in fall, cleaned, chopped, dried, and used to make tea. Roasted dandelion root tea supports digestive health and liver function. Identification. Everyone knows dandelions, yellow composite flowers, deeply toothed leaves, milky white sap, fluffy seed heads. However, some similar plants can be toxic, so be absolutely certain of identification. Where to find them? Lawns, fields, roadsides, parks, anywhere there's disturbed soil and sun. Most people's lawns are full of free medicine. The dandelion went from valuable medicinal plant to hated weed in just a few decades. A perfect example of forgotten plant knowledge. Number 8. Yarrow, Achillea millefolium. Coming in at number 8 is yarrow, named after the Greek hero Achilles, who supposedly used it to treat wounded soldiers during the Trojan War. This plant's reputation as a wound healer is well deserved. Yarrow can stop bleeding almost instantly. Traditional uses. Yarrow is famous for its ability to stop bleeding quickly. Fresh yarrow leaves applied to wounds cause blood to clot rapidly. This has been used on battlefields throughout history from ancient Greece to the Civil War. Yarrow also reduces fever and inflammation, fights infection with natural antibacterial properties, eases digestive complaints, and supports the immune system. Indigenous peoples throughout North America used yarrow extensively for wounds, fevers, pain, and various ailments. How it works. Yarrow contains compounds including acetylene, which promotes clotting, flavonoids, and volatile oils with anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial properties. How to use. For bleeding wounds, crush fresh yarrow leaves and flowers and apply directly to the wound. The bleeding should slow or stop within minutes. Still seek medical care for serious wounds. For fever and immune support, yarrow tea made from the flowers and leaves induces sweating and helps break fevers. For topical infections or inflammation, yarrow salve or poultice can be applied. Modern scientific support. Studies confirm yarrow has significant anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, and hemostatic, stops bleeding properties. The traditional uses are scientifically supported. Identification. Yarrow has feathery, finely divided leaves that look almost fern-like, flat-topped clusters of small white or pink flowers, and grows 1 to 3 feet tall on erect stems. The leaves have a distinctive aromatic scent when crushed. Caution. Yarrow is in the Asteraceae family and can cause allergic reactions in people sensitive to ragweed, chrysanthemums, or daisies. Prolonged skin contact can cause photosensitivity in some people. Where to find it? Fields, meadows, roadsides, prairies. Yarrow grows throughout North America in sunny, well-drained locations. Yarrow is one of the most valuable first aid plants you can know, especially for stopping bleeding in emergency situations. Number 7. Wild violet, viola species. At number 7 is wild violet, those cheerful little purple flowers that pop up in spring lawns and are often considered weeds. But violets are both edible and medicinal, used traditionally for respiratory issues and skin conditions. Traditional uses. Violet leaves and flowers have been used for centuries to soothe coughs and respiratory irritation, ease inflammation in the body, support lymphatic health, and treat skin conditions. Violet syrup was a traditional remedy for coughs, sore throats, and bronchitis. The leaves contain mucilage that soothes irritated mucous membranes. Nutritional value. Violet leaves are incredibly nutritious, higher in vitamin C than oranges and rich in vitamin A. The flowers and young leaves can be eaten in salads. How to use. For coughs and sore throats, make violet tea by steeping fresh or dried leaves and flowers in hot water. The mucilaginous tea coats and soothes irritated throat tissues. For skin irritation and inflammation, violet poultice or infused oil can be applied topically. Violet leaves are cooling and anti-inflammatory. Modern scientific support. Research shows violets contain salicylic acid, the compound aspirin is based on, rutin, and other anti-inflammatory compounds. The high mucilage content does soothe mucous membranes. Identification. Wild violets have heart-shaped leaves and 5-petaled purple, white, or yellow flowers, depending on species. They grow low to the ground, often in shady areas. Make absolutely certain you have true violets, as some similar plants are toxic. Caution. Large amounts of violet leaves can have laxative effects. Use in moderation. Where to find them? Lawns, woodland edges, shady garden areas, disturbed soil. Violets grow throughout eastern and central North America. These little flowers that people spray as weeds are actually gentle. Effective medicine growing freely. Number 6. Mullein, Verbascum thapsus. Sliding into number 6 is mullein, a tall, stately plant with large, fuzzy leaves that was used traditionally for respiratory ailments and is experiencing a revival among herbalists. Mullein is particularly valued for ear infections and lung conditions. Traditional uses. Mullein has been used for thousands of years to treat respiratory conditions including asthma, bronchitis, and coughs, soothe ear infections, and reduce inflammation. Mullein leaf tea is a traditional remedy for lung congestion and coughs. The leaves contain saponins and mucilage that help expel mucus from the lungs. Mullein flower oil. This is where mullein really shines. Mullein flower oil infused in olive oil has been used for generations to treat ear infections. A few drops of warm mullein oil in the affected ear can relieve pain and fight infection. Many herbalists consider it as effective as antibiotics for minor ear infections. How to use. For respiratory issues. Make tea by steeping dried mullein leaves in hot water. Strain through cheesecloth to remove fine hairs. Drink 2 to 3 cups daily for lung congestion. For ear infections, infuse fresh mullein flowers in olive oil for 2 to 3 weeks. Strain well, and use 2 to 3 drops of warmed oil in the affected ear. Modern scientific support. Studies show mullein has anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, and antiviral properties. The saponins help thin mucus, and the demulcent properties soothe irritated tissues. Identification. Mullein is distinctive. A tall flower stalk, 3 to 7 feet, grows from a rosette of large, velvety, gray-green leaves. The leaves feel like flannel and are covered in fine hairs. Yellow flowers grow on the tall spike. Caution. The fine hairs on mullein leaves can irritate the throat if not strained well from tea. Always strain mullein tea through fine cheesecloth or coffee filters. Where to find it? Roadsides, fields, disturbed soil, sunny areas. Mullein is common throughout North America as an introduced plant. This forgotten remedy is particularly valuable for ear infections in children and respiratory issues. Number 5. Stinging nettle, Urtica dioica. At number 5 is stinging nettle, a plant that defends itself with tiny hypodermic-like hairs that inject histamine and other compounds causing painful stinging. But once properly prepared, nettle is incredibly nutritious and medicinal. Traditional uses. Nettle has been used for centuries to treat allergies and hay fever, ironically despite containing histamine. Support kidney and urinary health, reduce inflammation, particularly arthritis pain, and provide dense nutrition. Nettle is extraordinarily rich in vitamins and minerals. Nutritional powerhouse. Nettle leaves contain more protein than most plants. High levels of iron, calcium, magnesium, vitamins A and C, and numerous trace minerals. For anemia, fatigue, or nutritional deficiency, nettle is exceptionally valuable. How to use. For allergies, nettle tea or tincture taken daily during allergy season can significantly reduce symptoms. Many people report nettle works better than antihistamines. For arthritis and inflammation, nettle tea or supplements reduce inflammatory markers. For nutrition, cooked nettle leaves, cooking destroys the sting, can be eaten like spinach. Nettle soup is traditional spring tonic food. Modern scientific support. Multiple studies confirm nettle's anti-inflammatory, antihistamine, and nutritive properties. Nettle extract is being studied for benign prostatic hyperplasia, enlarged prostate, with promising results. Identification. Nettle has opposite, serrated leaves covered with stinging hairs, square stems, and grows 3 to 7 feet tall. The stinging hairs are visible as fine, translucent needles on stems and leaf undersides. Caution. Fresh nettle stings painfully on contact. Wear gloves when harvesting. Cooking, drying, or blending destroys the sting. Don't eat raw. Nettle can interact with blood thinners and blood pressure medications. Consult your doctor. Where to find it? Moist, rich soil along streams, in forests, and disturbed areas. Nettle is common throughout northern North America. Once you learn to safely harvest and prepare nettle, it's one of the most valuable wild foods and medicines available. Number 4. Red clover, Trifolium pratense. Coming in at number 4 is red clover, those pink-purple puffball flowers that grow in fields and along roadsides. This common plant is powerful medicine for women's health and has significant anti-cancer properties being researched today. Traditional uses. Red clover has been used for centuries to support women's hormonal health, particularly during menopause, purify blood and support detoxification, ease coughs and respiratory conditions, and treat skin conditions like eczema and psoriasis. Red clover is particularly valued for menopausal symptoms. The flowers contain isoflavones, plant estrogens, that can help balance hormones and reduce hot flashes, night sweats, and mood swings. How to use. For menopause symptoms, red clover tea, steep 1 to 2 teaspoons dried flowers in hot water. Drunk daily can reduce hot flashes within weeks. Red clover is also available as supplements. For respiratory issues, red clover acts as an expectorant, helping clear lung congestion. For skin conditions, red clover salve or adding strong tea to bathwater helps soothe eczema and psoriasis. Modern scientific support. Studies confirm red clover contains significant amounts of isoflavones, including genistein and didzane. Research shows it can reduce menopausal symptoms, improve bone density, and potentially reduce cancer risk. The isoflavones are being studied for anti-cancer properties. Identification. Red clover has the characteristic 3-leaflet clover leaf, sometimes with a white chevron mark, and pink to purple rounded flower heads. Don't confuse with white clover, which is also edible and medicinal but less potent. Caution. Because red clover has estrogenic effects, people with hormone-sensitive conditions should consult their doctor before use. It may interact with blood thinners. Where to find it? Fields, meadows, lawns, roadsides. Red clover grows throughout North America, often in abundance. This common field flower is powerful hormone-balancing medicine that many women swear by. Number 3. Jewelweed, Impatiens capensis. Here we are at number 3. Jewelweed, also called touch-me-not for its seed pods that explode when touched. This plant is famous for one specific use, instantly relieving poison ivy, poison oak, and poison sumac rashes. Traditional uses. Jewelweed is legendary for preventing and treating poison ivy/oak/sumac rashes, soothing other skin irritations including bug bites and stings, and treating fungal infections like athlete's foot and ringworm. How it works instantly. Jewelweed contains compounds including lawsone, the same compound in henna, that neutralize urushiol, the oil in poison ivy that causes the allergic reaction. Applied immediately after poison ivy exposure, jewelweed can prevent the rash from developing. Applied to existing rashes, it provides almost instant relief from itching. How to use. For poison ivy prevention, if you've brushed against poison ivy, immediately crush fresh jewelweed stems and leaves and rub the juice all over exposed areas. Wash with soap and water afterward. Many people report completely preventing the rash this way. For existing poison ivy rash, crush fresh jewelweed and apply the juice to affected areas. Relief from itching occurs within minutes. Reapply as needed. For convenience, jewelweed can be frozen in ice cube trays, the juice, and rubbed on rashes as needed. Modern scientific support. Studies confirm jewelweed contains compounds that counteract urushiol. One study found jewelweed is effective as commercial poison ivy treatments. Identification. Jewelweed has succulent, somewhat translucent stems, oval, serrated leaves, and distinctive orange or yellow tubular flowers with spots, looking like little jewels. The plants grow 2 to 5 feet tall in moist areas. The stems are smooth and watery when crushed. Where to find it? Jewelweed loves wet areas, stream banks, wet woods, ditches, and shady, moist locations. Interestingly, jewelweed often grows near poison ivy, as if nature provides the antidote near the problem. Pro tip: if you hike or camp in areas with poison ivy, learn to identify and use jewelweed. It can save you days of misery. Number 2. Elderberry, Sambucus nigra and S. canadensis. We've reached number 2. Elderberry, a plant that's experienced a huge revival in recent years for immune support, but which has been used medicinally for thousands of years. Elderberries are particularly effective against flu viruses. Traditional uses. Elderberries have been used for centuries to fight colds, flu, and respiratory infections, reduce fever and inflammation, support the immune system, and treat sinus infections. Elder was considered so important medicinally that it was called the medicine chest of the country people. Nearly every European and American household had elderberry syrup on hand for winter illnesses. How it works. Elderberries contain high levels of anthocyanins and other compounds that directly inhibit flu viruses, prevent viruses from entering cells, boost immune function, and reduce inflammation. Modern scientific support. This is where elderberry shines. Extensive research confirms it works. Multiple clinical studies show elderberry extract significantly reduces flu duration and severity. People taking elderberry at the first sign of flu recover 2 to 4 days, faster than those who don't. One study found elderberry as effective as Tamiflu. How to use. Elderberry syrup is the most common preparation. At the first sign of cold or flu, take 1 tablespoon of elderberry syrup every 2 to 3 hours. Many people report symptoms dramatically improving within 24 hours. Elderberry can also be taken preventatively during flu season, 1 tablespoon daily. How to make elderberry syrup. Simmer dried elderberries in water for 30 to 45 minutes. Strain. Add honey, equal parts honey to liquid, and bottle. This stores in the refrigerator for 2 to 3 months. Critical caution: raw elderberries, bark, leaves, and roots contain cyanogenic glycosides and should never be eaten raw. They can cause nausea and vomiting. Always cook elderberries before consuming. Only the flowers can be used raw, in moderation. Buy dried elderberries from reputable sources or dry your own properly. Identification. Elderberry shrubs grow 5 to 12 feet tall with compound leaves, 5 to 9 leaflets, flat-topped clusters of small white flowers in early summer, and dark purple-black berries in late summer. Red elderberries are toxic. Only use blue blackberries. Where to find them? Edges of woods, stream banks, disturbed areas. Elderberries are common throughout North America. Elderberry syrup should be in every household's medicine cabinet during flu season. Number 1. Willow, Salix species. And finally, taking the number 1 spot as the most important forgotten healing plant is willow, the original source of aspirin. For thousands of years before pharmaceutical aspirin existed, humans used willow bark to relieve pain and reduce fever. Historical significance. Willow bark has been used for pain relief for at least 4,000 years. Ancient Sumerians, Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans all documented using willow for pain. Indigenous peoples throughout North America used various willow species for headaches, fever, arthritis, and pain. In 1763, Reverend Edward Stone presented a paper to the Royal Society describing willow bark's effectiveness for fever. In 1829, scientists isolated salicin from willow bark. By 1899, Bayer had synthesized acetylsalicylic acid, aspirin, based on the active compound in willow bark. How it works. Willow bark contains salicin, which the body converts to salicylic acid, the same active ingredient in aspirin. It reduces pain, lowers fever, reduces inflammation, and thins blood, similar to aspirin. Traditional uses. Willow bark has been used for headaches and migraines, arthritis and joint pain, fever reduction, menstrual cramps, and general pain relief. How to use. Willow bark tea is the traditional preparation. Simmer 1 to 2 teaspoons of dried, chopped willow bark in water for 10 to 15 minutes. Strain and drink. For pain relief, drink 1 to 3 cups daily as needed. Pain relief typically occurs within 30 to 60 minutes and lasts several hours. Willow bark tincture or capsules are also available. Modern scientific support. Extensive research confirms willow bark's pain-relieving and anti-inflammatory properties. Studies show it's effective for lower back pain, osteoarthritis, and headaches. Some studies suggest it's as effective as aspirin, but with fewer stomach side effects. Which willows, white willow, Salix alba, is most commonly used medicinally and has the highest salicin content, but most willow species contain salicin and can be used. Black willow, crack willow, and pussy willow all have medicinal properties. Identification. Willows typically have long, narrow leaves, grow near water, and have flexible branches. There are many species, but most have similar medicinal properties. Harvest bark from branches, not the trunk, in spring when sap is rising. Critical cautions. Because willow contains aspirin-like compounds, it has the same cautions as aspirin. Do not use if you're allergic to aspirin, taking blood thinners, have bleeding disorders, or have ulcers. Do not give to children with fever, risk of Ray's syndrome, same as aspirin. Pregnant and nursing women should avoid willow, can interact with many medications. Where to find them? Wetlands, stream banks, lake shores, wet areas. Willows are common throughout North America in moist locations. Why willow is number 1. Willow represents the bridge between traditional plant medicine and modern pharmaceuticals. It's proof that traditional uses weren't superstition. They were empirical observations of real medicinal effects. Knowing how to use willow bark gives you access to pain relief even when pharmacies aren't available. It's powerful, effective, and grows abundantly throughout North America. And there you have it, 10 forgotten plants that can heal you, often with remarkable speed. From humble plantain stopping the itch of bug bites instantly, to yarrow stopping bleeding on the battlefield, to willow providing the original aspirin, to elderberry fighting flu viruses. These plants represent thousands of years of human knowledge that's been lost in just a few generations. These plants aren't replacements for modern medicine. Antibiotics, surgery, and emergency care save countless lives. But they're valuable supplements to healthcare, options when professional care isn't immediately available, and connections to our heritage and the natural world. Learning to identify and use these plants gives you greater self-sufficiency and resilience. In an emergency, natural disaster, or simply when you're far from pharmacies, knowing these plants could make a crucial difference. Final reminders. Always positively identify plants before using them. Many have toxic lookalikes. Start with small amounts to test for allergic reactions. Consult healthcare providers, especially if you're pregnant, nursing, taking medications, or have health conditions. Use plants as complementary to, not replacement for, professional medical care. Learn from reputable sources and experienced herbalists. These plants grow freely, asking nothing from us, offering healing to anyone who learns their secrets. It's knowledge worth preserving and passing on. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you found this information valuable and want to learn more about medicinal plants and natural remedies, please give this video a big thumbs up and share it with others interested in herbal medicine. And make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss our videos. Drop a comment below. Have you used any of these medicinal plants? Do you have experience with herbal medicine? What plants do you want to learn about? Share your knowledge and experiences with our community. Thanks again for being here. Remember, the best medicine is often growing right outside your door, free for those who know where to look. I'll see you in the next video. Stay healthy and stay curious.